Okay, so I had a question on Tumblr regarding my video, Don't Buy Cheap Bikes. Am I a bike snob? I am not a bike snob. It's just that cheaper bikes do seem to have components that break. If you take a look at my video that I did, Never Buy a Cheap Bike, the frame and forks would probably last a lifetime, but the components fail very quickly. So it's not that, I'm not having a go at anybody saying that you shouldn't buy cheap bikes. It's cheaper bikes are obviously made for a purpose. They probably know that the person isn't into cycling as much as a guy who does regular cycling. For instance, people that join the gym at the beginning of the year and never go to the gym, if that makes sense. How can I put it? It's probably aimed at someone who is going to buy the bike but has no intention of kind of using it. And that's not having to go at anybody. Honestly, it's not having to go at anybody, but it's specifically designed for a person who, is not that into cycling. And the manufacturers probably think that they're never going to use it. So they just put cheap components on it. I mean, anyone who is, and again, it's going to sound snobbish, but anyone who's into cycling is going to get a bike from at least £500-600 upwards. I mean, I personally wouldn't spend like £10,000 on a bike. The bikes go up to like ridiculous prices, like 10 grand. But I mean, I would never pay that much for a bike. But what I was saying in the video is that brakes are pretty important on a bike. Brakes are pretty important, and you don't want to be risking your life and limb. Pressing the brake, there's nothing there. You're going downhill towards a junction, and there's cars and trucks coming. It's pretty obvious that having brakes on a bicycle is pretty important. But for that particular component to fail, it's pretty scary. It's pretty scary stuff. I mean, and if a bike buys a bike like that, cheap components go wrong, cause an accident. I mean, that's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. So am I a bike snob? No, I'm not a bike snob. I mean, that white bike, my Specialized LA, I think that cost me £5,999, 600 quid. 600 quid. And it's got cheap components on it. It has got cheap components, which are Sora. They are cheap components. But they're always going to work. They're not going to fail. Unless, like, the cable fails or something like that, which they rarely do because they're tested up to certain weights and stresses. So that is not a particularly expensive bike, but the parts on it aren't going to fail as long as, obviously the stress factor, fatigue over the years, it probably will fail at some point. But if used as it's supposed to be used, it's not going to fail. It's not going to fail. The brakes are always going to work on that. And I mean, if you look at the video, if you look back at the video, Never Buy a Cheap Bike, you can see where the it's like a little nodule on the end of this. It's a weird thing, a weird kind of a brake setup. But I have seen them on those type of bikes. It's like a long tube with a little nodule at the end, which is like aluminium-y, made of aluminium. And then the more you use it, it fails. So that's a design fault. That's a terrible design fault. So yeah, that's basically what I'm saying. Why you shouldn't buy a cheap bike. It's nothing. I'm not being a bike snob. I'm not saying that I'm better than anyone else or having a go at anyone. I'm just saying that, you know, the components on these bikes are not going to be as good as if you invest some money in a reasonably priced bike that is a good brand, like Specialized Giant, etc., etc., Merida, whatever. So, hope that clears it up. Like I say, I'm not having a go at anybody. I'm not saying I'm better than anyone. That's not the case at all. So I hope that clears it up. Thanks for watching. Give me a thumbs up or thumbs down if you hate the video. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. And I'll see you in the next video shortly. Thanks for watching.